That's it. You can do it. You can officially play anything, and you can get your invite. You can do well. Michael Apostle sent in this. This is his 10th place list from Pasadena. Ladies and gentlemen, we officially have an Evil Eye Orcust deck. Now, I talked up Evil Eye a lot, and I still think this deck has a lot of potential. But Michael here took this deck and just blew my mind. And, you know, in a world where you smash two monsters together and you end on a 4-negate board, because that's just how Yu-Gi-Oh! Works in this current era, that is a hard benchmarker to press. But what if we have Mr. Surziel with his equip spell on him? Does that mean that we can also get further disruption on top of everything else that we're doing? I beg to ask the question of, is this enough? Can we do more? Well, evidently, fuck it, yes we can. Fucking Bob the Builder that shit. So, this is Evil Eye Orcust, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so happy to see this. This is so cool. We have triple copies of Asher Blossom in Joyous Spring, one copy of the Belalius, the familiar of the Evil Eye. So if you control an Evil Eye monster, you just special summon this card from your hand. And of course, you only special summon him once per turn. Once per turn during your main phase, you can send one Evil Eye spell and trap card you control to the graveyard. Yeah, we get a nice little special summoner here. We have two copies of Effect Failure for protection. Now, the Orcust package here is pretty small. We have the one Sign Bull and the one Harpor and the two copies of the Orcust Nightmare. I think this is fine. I've never been much of a complainer. I almost feel that adding two of each of these just bogs down the deck. Now, we're only playing two copies of Surziel, once again, on Core Summon Search for your Evil Eye. Your opponent's going to be too fucking busy wondering what the fuck trash you're playing when you normal summon this and then you smash together into the Orcust, because they're probably going to stop this. Classic 101 bait. We have one copy of the Ancient Cloak, two copies of Silent Boots, one copy of Candina, one copy of Corobane. Once again, this combo just smashes together and goes. One copy of the World Wand. Spells, we have triple copies of Called by the Grave, two copies of the On Activation Go Search for Our Evil Eye, and then once per turn during damage calculation, if our Evil Eye is attacked, if we have the Evil Eye of Sleem, we can make battle damage you take also inflicted to your opponent. If this card in the field zone is destroyed, we get to target an Evil Eye monster in our graveyard and add back to our hand. This is so fucking cheesy. Only one copy of the Evil Eye of Sleem. We have one copy of Foolish Barrel, triple copies of Instant Fusion, one Orchestrated Babble, one Orchestrated Return for draw power, one copy of Hornet Drones, two copies of Terraforming, one Trickstar Light Stage, two copies of Twin Twister, wrapping up the spells. And then Traps, literally so stable. We have one Crescenado, two copies of Fogblade, and one copy of Shade Brigade. Down here in the extra deck, we have one Rusty Bardish, one Kagari, one Longrisu, one Unicorn, one Phoenix, one Mermaid, one Cerberus, triple copies of Galtea, one Borreload, two copies of Dingrisu, one copy of Thousand Eyes Restrict, and one copy of Millennium Eyes Restrict. Side deck here. Triple copies of Lancia, two copies of Prankatops, triple copies of Ghost Girl and Sad Doggo, one copy of Twin Twister, two copies of Anti-Spell Fragrance, two copies of Infinite Impermanence, and two copies of Unending Nightmare. Wrapping this up. Now, really, you can really play anything this format and actually do well with it as long as it's got an Orcust package in it. That is literally the level of Yu-Gi-Oh! That we're at right now. And I'm disgusted with it. Like, I can't wait to see this just go away. Like, I'm over it already, as most of you should be as well. Moving on along here. This was a Orcust list sent in that was played at Detroit. I have marked here that it 80 top from Detroit. So, oh boy, why is everything Orcust? Is this what happens when you just make you have the most splashable generic engine smashed together with the second most generic splashable engine here? Actually, this is the most splashable, second most splashable. I almost think that Orcust did it better than Dangers, and Dangers were the ones that were supposed to do it the best. Alright, so we have Yield top Orcust Danger Smash. This is literally just pure Orcust. I think it's going to be the best way to note this. So, triple copies of Nessie, because he's still the best one. Triple copies of Suchi, and triple copies of Jackalope. You guys remember Back in the day when we thought Dangers were inherently broken. They are, but they're interesting. Can't wait for the OCG to get these little guys. And then we have one copy of Thunderbird, because popping that back row, that Mystic Mind player's back row, that you just don't want to deal with this game. So free. We have triple copies of Connector and one copy of Aqualad, one copy of Sky Blaster, one Dark Gruffer, one copy of the Ancient Cloak, two copies of Silent Boots, triple copies of Harp Horror and two copies of Cymbal Skeleton, and two copies of the Orcust Nightmare. These ratios are fine because we are playing literally 56 cards. Any less than that, I think we're going to start running into issues. One copy of the World one Candina, and one Carlbine. It's almost like this is a fucking thing now. And triple copies of Ash Blossom, wrapping up the main deck here. Or the main monsters. Spells, we have two Trickstar Light Stage, triple copies of Engage, one Eagle Booster, one Hornet Drones, triple Instant Fusion, one Rhoda, one Terraforming, triple copies of Called by the Grave, and triple copies of Twin Twisters, along with one Return and one Babel. Traps here. We have one Crescenado, two copies of Fogblade, and one copy of Shade of Brigandine. Extra deck here. Hey, look, it's our Instant Fusion target. Hi, Winda. We have one copy of Longrisu, triple copies of Galtea, two copies of Dingrisu, 1,000 Eyes Restrict, one Boral Sword Dragon, one Kagari, one copy of Unicorn, one copy of Cerberus, one copy of Mermaid, one copy of Phoenix, and one copy of Rusty Tin Can. Side deck here, we have triple copies of Prangatops, triple copies of Lancia, triple copies of Radion, triple copies of MST, and triple copies of Red Rebuto, wrapping this up. Absolutely disgusted with how much Orcust is going into today's metagame. But, you know, nonetheless, it's a good thing to see that players are having success with these evolutions, because it is allowing these rogue decks to do well, you know, for the most part. Blackwings, I'm looking at you. Now, last but not least, we have the Subterror list that got first place at the Atlanta Regional. I believe that this was past weekend or something like that. So one thing I do want to say about this, we have not seen a lot of Subterror at all. I was almost starting to think that this deck was dead. I don't know what happened to it. It just kind of walked into a corner somewhere and just went to die. And that's saying something, because this deck is really good for, well, when it wants to be. It's still got issues, but that's for another day. So, we have triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Springu, two copies of Effect Veiler, triple copies of Phantasmi, Mr. Fantastical Dragon, one copy of Behemoth Umastrix, triple copies of Fiendus, triple copies of Guru, and one copy of the Nemesis Archer. Pretty standard, honestly. We have two copies of Pot of Duality, triple copies of Extravagance, one copy of the Cape Clash, because being able to just ping our opponent for damage and add back a Subterror card, I love maximum value. We have two copies of Super Poly, two Terraforming, and triple copies of the Hidden City. Traps, we have triple Crackdown, triple copies of Imperm, two Steed Reich, two copies of Final Battle, and two copies of There Can Only Be One. Floodgate usage has kind of been down a little bit this format, at least in decks like this, but almost thought you would see more of these here. But I guess when Crackdown kind of just does things for your deck, I understand this. Extra deck here, we have one copy of Avermax, one Phoenix, one Hida, one Decode, one Borreload, two copies of Starving Venom, triple copies of the Violet Chimera, two copies of Dragostopalia, one Mud Dragon, one Diplexer, and one copy of Chimeratech Fortress Dragon. Side deck here, we have triple copies of Lancia, two copies of Prankatops, two copies of System Down, triple Evenly Matched, two copies of Heavy Storm Duster, one Imperial Order, one copy of Solemn Judgment, and one copy of Unending Nightmare, wrapping up this list. So, I'm not shocked to see Orcust just being the biggest deck of the format right now. Shouldn't really shock you guys either. I don't even know what you call it anymore. You literally just say the deck's engine plus Orcust, right? Like, that's what we do. Subterror, I almost think the deck's too vanilla for what it wants to do also. It seems like it should be doing a lot better in theory, but I don't know if players just don't want to pick up the deck, or if Crackdown just didn't crack down the situation enough, you know, to be good. But it's a discussion for another day. Maybe it's just not as good as we had hoped. So guys, please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think about these lists. Congratulations to Duelist as well for doing very well at your events. I look forward to hearing from more of the player base as well. If you guys got something interesting you want me to cover, please send it on over. And well, guys, I'm out. Peace. The ride never, well, truly ends. Thank you, patrons. Without you guys, I don't know what I'd be wearing in these videos. I might be a truffle shuffle incident all over again. Guys, please also check out Vanquil40 for some awesome Vanguard content. Some other interesting stuff you might find up here on the left or in the description as well. Thanks for watching.